So with Texas representatives MIA, the fate of the legislature's funding could be up to the Texas Supreme Court. Here with the latest on this, and also to discuss his victory on a DACA ruling, Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton joins me to discuss. Good to see you, sir. Thanks for your time today.
Hey, I hope you're doing well. Thanks for having me on.
And yes, doing very well. And so, how is this gonna unfold with the legislature? Because I mean, you got funding for the staff that's going to be running out. How is all of this gonna end up being determined?
You know, it's like a movie that we never thought we'd be in. It is running out at the end of the month. Our new cycle starts September 1st, and so I guess the Democrats have a decision to make. Are they going to take care of? They've already ignored the will of the people. They've already ignored their other fellow representatives who've shown up and given up their time to be down there and volunteered their time. But are they also going to ignore their own staff and not come back and deal with the issues that they're supposed to deal with? If they don't care about them, then they don't care about them, and they won't be funded.
Yeah. So how does this work with the Texas Supreme Court? Because if they're not there to determine legislature's funding, so then this goes to the Texas Supreme Court, and then they would make that determination because they broke quorum and fled.
Yeah. So if there's a lawsuit over this, that lawsuit would be ultimately go to the Supreme Court when they take it, and they would have to make the determination as to whether the governor has the ability to veto that particular section of the budget. I don't know why he wouldn't. He has the power to veto other sections of the budget, so I don't know why he couldn't do this.
Very interesting. Yeah, there's been a lot of discussion about that and whether or not he could, and if he could, why hasn't he done that at this particular point? Do you have any? I mean, why do you think that might be?
Well, he already cut out part of the funding for these legislative staff. Legislators don't really make any money, so it's hard to cut their salaries when they hardly make anything. But he has already cut the funding for the legislative budget, so they're already, unless they show up and there's a change during the session, their staffs are going to get cut off along with every other staff in the legislature. Even those who participated in showing up are going to be punished because the Democrats have decided they don't care about this.
Yeah, well, there you go. I wanted to ask you, too, about your victory in the DACA program. For those who don't know, the court concluded that Texas had standing, that the Deferred Action Childhood Arrival Program, that's what we saw come up under the Obama administration, that it was, in fact, subject to judicial review, and that the federal government didn't follow the protocol. They didn't follow the law, really, and when they were issuing DACA. So congratulations on that. And what does that mean? What does that mean for the border?
You know what? It's a huge win. I mean, it sends the message to President Biden. This was under Obama that the DACA was created. And what happened under Obama was he just made up law. He said, okay, I don't like the fact that we have these immigration laws that prevent people from coming to this country. I'm going to create my own terms and conditions, and I'm just going to implement them through the federal government. That's what he did. So we sued him. And the reason this is so important, even if you agree that all of these people should be allowed in and be given amnesty, it's not in the power of the president to do that. So if we let any president do that, we are ignoring the Constitution. We're going to lose our ability to have representative government. The states will lose their power, and it will become we'll have a president who has all this power, who can issue edicts, and we're all just sitting watching. We're no different than a dictatorship or some type of oligarchy.
Yeah, that's a very good point, because this wasn't even justifiable through any kind of executive action. I mean, I understand that the president of the United States enjoys some of that privilege keeping within the Constitution, but the determination from this, even though the Obama administration, as you know, because you were leading the fight on this, they argued that this was perfectly fine, legal, it was within his purview, but it wasn't, and that's what ultimately was determined.
Yeah, and that's really important. Whether you're a Democrat, Republican, whether you might even love this issue. You might say this is the best thing President Obama ever did. But we can't let any president, because if you say that about a President Obama, that he should be able to do this because it's great policy, then we also would say President Trump should be able to do the very same thing. He ought to be able to make up his own laws. Well, I don't think anybody would like that either. And so that's not the way this country functions. We vote for people, they debate things, they pass things, and the president has to sign those things. And if that's not the process, we're living in a different country and we don't have a constitution.
Yeah, and it definitely, talking with Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton, definitely is not the kind of the process. We were just talking a little bit ago about the state legislatures with Texas Democrats. One of the things that I've heard from so many people who listen on radio, who comment about this whenever the show plays across Texas or elsewhere in the country, because so many stories have been done now about those people who've entered the country illegally. There are people who are put on planes and flown elsewhere. Who's doing that and who's paying for that in Texas?
So my guess is, since they're not being transparent, I've been to the border. I've been in these detention centers. I've been to the Donna facility. I've been to the one in Midland. I've been to the one in San Antonio. I never get a straight answer on where these people are going and who's paying for it. My guess is we're all paying for it. And
you're the Attorney General of Texas, and they're not telling you?
No, they don't want us to know. They don't want you to know. They don't want me to know. They don't want us talking about it. They don't want us asking the question. They do not want to be transparent about what's going on in the federal government, what's going on with these people, because guess what? If it were public, I'm guessing most people wouldn't like it.
Oh, that's a very good point about that.